Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MTG Place podcast. I'm your host, Corey, and with me today is Josh. How's it going, Josh?
What's up, everyone? Going well?
So today we are talking about, murders at Karlov Manor?
Yeah, Karlov, not Markov. I'm hearing a lot of people say Markov. Karlov family.
Yes,
we just had the wedding for the vampires.
Right. Okay, so we're going to talk about all the cards, the rares and mythics, Wooburg order. You want to just jump right in here and you start reading the first one?
Oh, yeah, all the cool cards. The fun ones to open. All right. Assemble the Players is the first one. 1 and a white, 2 mana, Enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. And once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top of your library. Starting off with a banger, I think. This is pretty good. Just even knowing what's on top of your library is pretty key, pretty vital. You have shuffle effects, so you can really know what you want or don't want. And I think it's pretty powerful. There's a lot of things lately caring about power of 2 or less. And usually that's kind of hard to do, because normally with smaller creatures that you're kind of going wide or something, and you have anthems that pump them up. So when you play something, it's already anthemed up and normally doesn't trigger. But this time it is the card that's on top. So it's not being buffed by any anthem. It is what the card is. It's always going to trigger that way. So I think it's very solid.
Yeah, it's super good for power 2 or less deck. So if you play that kind of a deck already with the Welcoming Vampire and all that stuff, seems like a pretty cool card to fit in there.
Yep. I'm reading that once each turn is kind of a downside, but getting card draw, quote unquote, in white is always a premium.
Yeah, any sort of you can get a free card in white is good. Plus, you just know what the top card is, which is nice.
Huge.
All right, next up we got Aurelias Vindicator. It's 2 white for a 4/2 angel with flying, lifelink, ward 2. It's a 4/2. And it has Disguise X 3 and a white. So Disguise is basically a new version of Morph. So you pay 3, you put it down, you can flip it up for its Disguise cost. So for when it's Morphed, it has ward 2. Okay, so when it's turned face up, exile up to X other target creatures from the battlefield and or creature cards from graveyards. And when it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands. So it's kind of flip it up into a Resto Angel. Or not a Resto, what's the big angel? Angel Serenity?
Okay, yep. Angel Serenity. I haven't seen that card in a while, but yes, exactly. I'm liking it. I think they've been trying to make Baneslayer Angel, but fixed in standard for a while now. There was that one in March of the Machines. I forget that one. It has backup 1.
Oh, the Boonbringer Valkyrie?
Yeah, Boonbringer Valkyrie. That was pretty decent. This one, I think, the downside, I guess, is it has 2 toughness, which really all you needed was that angel to be flying, so it has evasiveness and just keep hitting for 4 in lifelink. So I think this is fantastic.
So are you more likely to just jam this as 4 for a 4/2 flying lifelink,
exactly.
or would you play it down on turn 3 and then turn 5 probably you could hit one thing?
Yeah. I would say if you top deck it late, I mean, why not? But if you have this on turn 4, I would try to just slam it there. If you have any sort of face down synergies, then of course I would do that. But I think this is solid without the disguise at all. Just try to slam it on turn 4 as quick as you can.
Yeah, the 2 toughness does suck, but
yeah, but it's evasive. I
guess it has ward 2, so they still have to pay 3 mana to bolt it.
Right, exactly. I like it a lot.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, then we'll go on to a new card type, Case. It's kind of like sagas, but not really. It's like an enchantment that gets solved. You'll see what happens when I read it. It's for 1 white mana. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. So it's one of those soul warden things, but on enchantment, which is great. But it has to solve. If you've gained 5 or more life this turn, so in 1 turn, you solve the equation, and then it gains an extra ability. So solved, sacrifice this case. Creatures in your graveyard gain. You may cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn.
Yeah, so effectively it's a 1-drop enchantment you always have with whenever a creature enters, you gain a life. If you have the checks at the beginning of your end step only, so not like anybody else's turn. And then you get like a solved marker if you solve it, and it's solved forever then, correct? Yep.
Correct.
From my understanding. And then then you can sacrifice it whenever you want to give cards in your graveyard, basically. Flashback.
Yeah, almost better than flashback. Just being able to reanimate it, like it doesn't go away or get exiled like Unearth,
Right.
which is pretty crazy.
I mean, because creatures, you can just cast creatures from your graveyard. Yeah.
Yep.
Just pretty good. That seems really good for 1 white.
Yeah, seems pretty absurd. I love Soul Warden effects. I think I've said it in the past podcast, but my buddy's got like an Ajani Pride made deck where in Commander he's got everything that cares about gaining 1 life at a time. It's a gain life deck, but not like gaining 5 life at once. It's gaining 1 individual triggers. So Ajani Pride made gets each and every single individual trigger. A bunch of other stuff triggers off of it. So this being on enchantment, it's not going to die to a board wipe. It is under your control, so that's kind of meh, but it's still okay.
I mean, if you make tokens or something.
Yeah. Going wide.
I mean, like, basically you're giving up a 1/1 creature because like you play Soul Warden, right? Or whatever it is. Like, I think there's another 1-drop that's only for you control too.
Yeah.
So you're basically giving up a 1/1 body to, at some point, if you hit 5, you can cast all your shit in your graveyard or all the creatures in your graveyard.
Yeah, that part's crazy.
Granted, you still have to pay the mana, but still, like, it's dope if they killed something. That's really good.
Yeah. We'll see how it pans out. Like we've been saying before, it's pretty specific, so it's going to be good in those certain decks, but it's not ubiquitous.
Yeah, any life gain deck, you'll play it for sure. Or some sort of token deck where you can just jam and get the 5.
Yep.
Next up, we got Delaney, the Streetwise Lookout. It is 2 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature, human scout. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. And if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So here's your commander if you want to do the power 2 or less thing.
Yeah, I can't think of any, like, on the top of my head, what creatures could trigger that have power 2 or less that is going to be pretty broken.
Well, I mean, like, what's the wall that you draw a card? You draw 2 cards.
Okay, yep. Shoot, the white wall.
Wall of Omens, yeah.
There we go, that's it. On top of my head, yeah, Ragavan would be a sick trigger to copy.
Then you need some sort of red-white commander.
Yeah, in the commander lens, but in like a 99 of a board deck or something. I don't know if I'd run this as a commander. Maybe
because like the ones I'm thinking of. Let's see. So there's the Mentor, the Meek. You still have to pay the mana.
Yeah.
The Welcoming Vampire thinks this trigger once each turn, so you still will only get 1 card.
Would it? Even if you copy it, it wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends how. If it says trigger once each turn, it's fine. If it says do this once each turn, then you can't. So I guess it depends on the wording.
Yep. So some sort of strong resonator type shenanigan.
Yeah.
Brago? That's the king?
Yeah, you could flicker a bunch of stuff.
Maybe in like the 99.
Well, what's the flyer that you gain 2 life and like draw 2 cards? Is that only 2 power or is it 3? That was a 2/2 flyer. Maybe it's a 3/2 flyer. You play it in Brago.
Okay.
It's like a blue-white card.
Oh, Cloud Brazier.
Yeah, is that a 2/2 or a 3/2?
I want to say 2/2. So,
So you get
I
that
mean,
twice.
this looks like a 99 type deck. I don't
Yeah,
know if you want to be pigeonholed in mono white for this, but maybe. I would need to see the creatures. Interesting card, though.
let's see. Cloud Blazer is a 2/2, so you double that. Yeah, it seems better than the 99.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, because that other one's, I think the Cathar is a 3/2, right? Or is that also a 2/2? The one that
Cathar Commando,
the one
3.
that O rings on
Mm,
ETB.
Banisher Priest? The 2/2?
Well, Banisher Priest would work.
Yeah.
But there's another one too that's like an O ring and then it transforms.
Okay.
And then there's
Tidehull Sculler I'm thinking about.
yeah, that's also not mono white.
Right. This is all, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of mono white ones. Yeah, it might be hard. I'm sure with the Scryfall search you could find some stuff.
Yes. Always go Scryfall. They have great ways for you to filter into exactly what you need. Love it.
But it seems cool, like if you want to build that deck.
Yeah.
Better in the 99 of stuff.
Yeah, that's what we'll finish it off as that. A 99 card. Till proven otherwise. Now I got another banger, I think. Doorkeeper Thrall. 1 and a white for a 1/2 flash flying Thrall. And he has the ability. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Now that I'm rereading it, it's not as crazy. I thought this was like a collector oof or something, but this is just artifacts entering. Creature ETBs as well, which is pretty relevant.
Yeah, it also shuts off like Yarick decks.
Well, yeah, totally hoses.
Because like Yarick, if any of the thing triggers on stuff entering, it just shuts all that off. So
yeah, stacks pieces are usually pretty specific, but can just completely hose a certain type of deck.
I mean, it's basically just what's the other one? Torpor Orb.
Torpor Orb.
What is
exactly.
it? 3 mana or 2 mana?
Good question. It's one or the other.
Yeah,
sure.
But I mean, this is on a creature, so it's like another one of those effects.
Yep. If you're running like Timna the Weaver, then that you want creatures to
figure
off.
You could play this and then play like Eater of Days and your Phyrexian Dreadnought.
Winota decks. Yeah, I like it. I just for some reason I was thinking it was more of an oof where like you can't even tap mana rocks, but no, this is just ETBs. No Eternal Witnesses.
It's still pretty good because it has flash.
Yeah.
If you play Hate Bears, you're gonna play it.
Yep.
Next up, we got No Witnesses. 2 white for a sorcery. Each player who controls the most creatures investigates, then destroy all creatures. So Wrath of God, but if you had the most creatures or whoever had the most gets a clue.
Flavorful. I love the flavor. It's awesome, but I would rather run Wrath of God.
Yeah, like why give someone a clue, right? Just run Wrath.
Yeah. Like the upside is that you had more creatures, but you don't want to be wrathing when you have more creatures.
Right.
Usually you're winning then, but I don't know. Maybe in like what are those decks that just give people like Kingmaker decks? What are they called?
Oh, like Group Hug?
Group Hug. This is a Group Hug card. You can draw a card. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, we'll move on to the 10th District Hero. 1 and a white, 2 mana, human, 2/3. He has activated abilities. 1 and a white, collect evidence 2. So that's a new keyword. Is collect evidence is I'm pretty sure it's from any graveyard.
It's your graveyard.
It's your own graveyard?
Yeah.
That makes it much worse. But from your graveyard, you exile a card or cards that have mana value.
Yeah, it's kind of like Delve. It's just like cards with that mana value or more.
Mm-hmm. So you can do 2 1-drops. I would not suggest doing 0 drops. But as long as you get up to 2, Then 10th District Hero becomes a human detective with base power 4/4 and gains vigilance. Then you can activate again, 2 and a white, collect evidence 4. He becomes, or if he is a detective, right, if you did the first one, he becomes a legendary creature named Meliva, the Stalwart. Its base power and toughness is 5/5 and gains other creatures you control have indestructible. Yeah.
So 2 mana, 2/3. Two
Yep.
mana exile something for 2. It becomes a 4/4 with vigilance. 3 mana exile 4 more CMC of stuff. 5/5 other creatures are indestructible. So in total, it's 1, 2. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana and 6 CMC worth of stuff.
I
For
don't
a
feel it.
like, just play Avacyn.
Right. Right. Like there's it's so hard to compete with what we have right now. It's
Yeah.
this is
I mean,
very
it's good for like standard or
yeah.
even in limited. This will probably be pretty good because it can keep it getting bigger.
I don't even know in standard. Commander impossible. I would not
Yeah,
touch
I would not play this commander. Yeah, standard. I don't know if you have mono white aggro, maybe, but
it's pretty bad.
like you have to use a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you need to be the detective deck. I could see limited. Okay, maybe the detective deck. I could see it. You would take the rare and limited. It's probably
Well,
going to.
yeah, in limited in the detective deck, like the signpost is like it gives all detectives +1/+1. So like,
Yeah, it'll be good and limited. That's about it.
next up we got the Unyielding Gatekeeper. Is 1 and a white for an Unyielding Gatekeeper Elephant Cleric guy. He's a 3/2 with Disguise, so you can play it face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. And it has Ward 2, and you can flip it up for 1 and a white. When it is turned face up, exile target non-land permanent. If you control it, return it to the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, its controller creates a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. So you can flicker your own thing or exile an opponent's thing, but they get a 2/2.
Yeah, I like it. It's not like Banisher Priest or any of those that it gives it back. It's more like Skyclave Apparition, where you permanently like exile this thing, whatever you wanted to do.
Right? Yeah, yeah,
You give them a 2/2.
yeah. It's kind of like a what's the one that gives them a 3/3?
Uh,
Generous gift. So it's
yeah,
like generous gift, but on a 3/2 creature, kind of.
exile is pretty huge,
Yeah, yeah. Exile is better.
and you can
So are
flip.
you always disguising this then? So you're just going to pay the 5 to do that?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess turn 2 you could just jam a 3/2, but
depends on your matchups. Yeah, if you need to be aggro, but I would say you really want to disguise this thing.
yeah, because I mean you're basically still doing it turn 4 because like turn 3 you play it down, turn 4 you're flipping
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good. And turn 5 you can just do it all at once.
yeah. I like them a lot.
I think it's
Uh,
good. I like that you don't have to pay the mana all at once, or if you don't want to.
right. Yeah, that's great about morphs. And there's even cards that discount face down stuff. Um, like you can have synergies too. Sadly, normally I run the morph commander, the one they printed in. Um,
Kadena or whatever.
yeah, I forget, like
That's blue
2020.
though, right?
Yes, I was about to say it's Sultai, so it's green, black, and blue. It's not white. White's usually not something to disguise or turn face down, but I don't know. We'll see how it shapes up. Seems good though.
Yeah.
All right, we'll work on the last white card. Wojcik Investigator? Wojcik, that's a weird word. 2 and a white, so 3 mana for a 2/4 Angel Detective with flying and vigilance. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate once for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you. That's pretty sick. Um,
Oh, you get that every upkeep. Okay, that's not bad.
it's your own upkeep, but yes.
Yeah. Well, for some reason I thought it was like an ETB.
Yeah. Yep. Each time it's going to trigger it. It seems interesting. Decent stats. I don't
I
know.
mean, it's decent with those cards that are like you and opponent draw cards because then like you can
Okay. Yep.
manipulate the hand size and then keep getting more clues.
Sure. Yeah. can see it in aggressive lists.
Definitely want some sort of payoff for sacking the clues, though, probably.
Yeah, you want artifact payoffs or clue payoffs, which again, I also run Lonus, Cryptozoologist, the first like clue commander, which is green and blue, not white. So you're in a bad color again. But
Well, you'll just have to make a white one now.
yeah, we'll see what shapes up. Like maybe like an Oswald deck, the birthing pod commander guy. I don't know. You get a 0 CMC artifact. Maybe sometimes, I don't know. You need to be aggressive. I don't know. It's a weird spot.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. I mean, 2/4 vigilance, flying,
Decent stats. Nothing. Good blocker because it's vigilant.
So now we're on what? On the blue?
Yeah.
All right, first blue card, we got Case of the Ransacked Lab. Why are you ransacking my lab, man? All right, 2 in a blue for the main thing is instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And then to solve it, you cast 4 or more instant sorcery spells this turn. And that has to be on your turn because it checks at your end step. And then when you solved it, you then get the effect whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, draw a card. So you always will have your stuff cost 1 less, and then when you do solve it, you'll draw cards off of it. So everything will replace itself, which is really good. But how hard is it to cast 4 things in one turn?
Actually, not too hard.
Not too hard.
Yeah, that's seems pretty easy.
I guess in like a constructed commander deck, it's probably pretty easy.
Yeah. I think we're in the commander lens, and
Yeah.
for sure, it's not an instant sorcery spell itself, but neither is Goblin Engineer, Goblin whatever that makes instant sorcery.
Electromancer or whatever.
Yeah, Electromancer. Like so. I mean, it seems pretty powerful. I don't like how it's 3 mana. That seems a little steep, but it's still. It seems usable. Like someone who's building that sort, like that.
I mean, it feels really good in that experience counter deck.
Yeah,
where you just cast stuff for free all the time, and it's like, oh well, I cast now. I'm just refilling my hand too.
Yep. Any sort of like, is it Spellslinger deck? It seems like it works on paper. We'll have to see how much it tries. I don't like the 3 mana. I think it could be 2, but
well, okay. So would you play this or Ristic Study?
Oh, Ristic Study, 100%. I mean, I don't know what you're. That's not a comparison.
I mean, you're drawing cards off of both.
No, there's certain tiers, and that's like the S tier.
What is budget list?
Budget list, okay. Is Ristic really that much? I think it's like $20. That's still kind of
it's
a
like
lot. To most
$30
people.
or something.
Yeah, that's still a lot, I guess.
Yeah, you're probably just playing this instant sorcery matter deck.
Yeah,
play this and your Ristic.
You need a trigger. Yeah. All right, we'll go on to the Conspiracy Unraveler. 5 blue, so 7 mana for a 6/6 flying Sphinx Detective. You may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana costs for spells that you cast. It doesn't reduce itself, and it costs 7 mana. So
yeah, the only way I see this being good is in some sort of self-mill reanimate deck.
Yeah, you need to reanimate this.
And like then you reanimate this, and then you have a bunch of big things that just went to your yard, and you start exiling them. Like you probably don't even play cheap creatures in that kind of deck. You just play all big creatures and reanimate spells.
Omniscience.
Self-mill.
Type
yeah,
thing.
And like omniscience and stuff. But at that point, do you need this? Like...
yeah, it's like a second way to get Omniscience out with Reanimator by self-milling. That sounds like a lot of hoops. I mean, it's cool, but it's a lot.
If you have a self-mill deck, you could just put it in there if you hit the 7 mana, and like you'd be able to cast some stuff.
Yeah.
By just like delving. But like, isn't there a card that just gives all your cards delve? Like, I think that's better.
True. Yeah, there's going to be much better options than this. It's a cool design, but they always put mythics as like, oh, that's wonky, but
It's probably going to be
If
like
it didn't cost
$1.
7, like
Yeah, that's the big thing.
if this was 5 or 6 mana,
This is going to be the card you don't want to open in your packs.
yeah, I think this is gonna be the mythic that you're like,
Crap. Yeah.
yeah. I'm just trying to find like what if you flash it in, it's still not good.
Sphinx is a relevant creature type,
I mean,
though.
if you have a Sphinx deck,
I don't even know if you run this one.
but like the other Sphinxes are better. This card's not good. It's
no.
bad. I think it's bad.
bad.
Like if you play a Jonah deck, we can cast this for 5, maybe. Like,
Man,
but then like you cast everything for 5 anyway, which is probably easier than collecting evidence 10. So like it's just redundancy.
Yep.
All right, next up we got the Coveted Falcon. It's 1 blue for a 1/4 artifact creature bird that's flying. Whenever it attacks, gain control of target permanent you own but don't control. So stop stealing my stuff, guy. And then it has Disguise for 1 and a blue. When it's turned face up, target opponent gains control of any number of target permanents you control. Draw a card for each one they gain control of this way. So this seems really good in Zedru.
yeah, the Zedru or the Rakdos. I guess you can't play in the Rakdos deck, but the Rakdos Billium, those type of
Yeah,
cards.
like where like Zedru, this would be good because you just give them a whole bunch of stuff at once.
Yeah,
and you draw cards.
Cards. Yeah, super specific. I don't think I would run this anywhere like you would give your opponent. I don't even know. Like,
I mean, you can give them your lands.
Your land seems even bad. Like anything that ETB is like an Eternal Witness, you already did. Like, here you go. You can have a 2/1. I think.
Yeah, to draw a card, but like then they have a 2/1. Like
you can gain control of it again. It being an artifact too is got me intrigued, but this is super specific in Zerdu, I think. Yeah,
I think Zedru's the only deck that's playing this.
I wouldn't even bother.
All right, we'll move on then to the Cryptic Coat. 2 and a blue for 3 mana artifact equipment. When it enters the battlefield, cloak the top card of your library, then attach the coat to it. So cloak is you basically, what is that, manifest? I think
but
it was.
But it has ward 2.
But now it has ward 2, so take the top card. It's now the face down 2/2. You can turn it face up for its
a creature. You can flip
if
it
it's
up.
a creature. So it is equipped creature gets +1 attack and can't be blocked. Then you can pay 2, so 1 and a blue to bounce it back to your hand, and you can loop that over and over. So bounce, manifest the top card, cloak the top card.
So if you have a face down deck, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, how much is Whisper Silk Cloak?
3.
Whisper Silk Cloak is 3, and
equip 2.
Oh, you can't equip this.
No, you cannot equip this.
I don't like it anymore.
You have to basically replay it to attach it.
I thought this could be like a Whisper Silk Cloak, like the new Whisper Silk Cloak.
So you get a 3/2 can't be blocked, and then when they kill it, you pay 2 and redo it.
I mean, you got a artifact entering the battlefield sort of triggers. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's something that can bounce and play again.
And I mean, if you hit a big creature, it's
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, the upside's there,
but it costs a lot of mana.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. Man, it's not a Whisper Silk Cloak.
No, but like I said, in your deck with the face down, where all face down stuff gets buffed,
you gotta get lucky. Okay.
Well, no, because like just making anything a 2/2, it's a free 2/2, it's a free 3/2, unblockable every round for 5 mana.
Yeah,
it's not great, but
it's not as bad as I'm thinking of it. But we'll see if a deck shapes around this card.
I think if you're only going to play it in the deck that cares about face down cards, otherwise you're not. Otherwise you'll just play Whisper Silk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would like standard care about a 3 unblockable creature for 3?
Probably not.
3? Probably not. I don't know.
I don't know. With Shieldred's still standard, so that seems like the best card.
Yeah, they're not rotating standard, so is standard even standard anymore? I don't know.
All right, next up we got the Forensic Gadgeteer. Is 2 and a blue for a 2/3 Videlkin Artificer Detective. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Sweet. Activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate. This effect can't reduce it less than 1 mana. So your clues only cost 1 to crack. This seems bonkers in an
This
artifact deck.
seems crazy. Absolutely nuts. I'm thinking like Urza, you can tap those clues for mana. You gain mana every single time. It's like a Bergie, but better.
Yep. Yeah, tap them for mana, play more, you gain more. Yeah, this is nuts.
Then it also has what is the rock where you pay 3 to untap it? Basalt Monolith. Does this go infinite with Basalt?
So it costs 2 to untap Assault.
Yep. And then
Yeah,
you
it does.
tap it for 3, and then you untap it for 2, and you tap
Yeah, it goes infinite with Basalt.
and you get extra. What? This card not being an artifact is like the only downside I can see. This card's crazy.
This card is nuts. This is going to be a kill on sight card.
This card's crazy.
Yeah, I think as a commander, this card might end up costing almost as much as what did Urza end up costing? Like $20, $30 when it came
At the
out.
start, yeah, he was
This
really
might be around that. We'll see, I guess.
yeah. This
seems nuts.
slots in the
There's no downside because whenever you cast an artifact, you can be playing Cheerios and just keep getting clues.
boom, 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 boom. That seems ridiculous. Plus the infinite mana cheese with Basalt Monolith, like, yikes.
Yeah.
All right, be on a lookout for the Forensic Gadgeteer. We'll move on to Intrude on the Mind. 3 and 2 blue for a 5 mana instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Then you create a 0/0 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Then put a +1/+1 counter on it for each card put into your graveyard this way. So any way I look at the piles, it doesn't seem that good. Like maybe like 4 mana.
No, most common you're drawing 2 cards or drawing 2 or 3 cards and getting a 2/2 flyer,
a 2/3
or
or
3/3 flyer.
yeah.
I mean, I guess you could choose 0 and 5, but then they'll just be like, okay, you draw 0 and you get a 5/5 flying for 5. Like,
yeah, it's not like Fact or Fiction where your opponent makes the piles, you make the piles, which seems a little weird to me. But
yep, and the opponent picks.
Your opponent has the even more better choice. Like with Fact or Fiction, like you're hoping your opponent doesn't really know how to make piles or something. Like you will pick the better one, where there's clearly always like a better one. Where in this case,
I feel like most of the time you're like, I guess you make the piles, so like at least you'll get something. You'll get something in a land most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So there's not like a clear winner. I don't know. Like Fact or Fiction's not even good anymore. Like it's really shown years.
Like if this they could have just made this cost 4.
Yeah.
Like, and it still would not be super good.
Yeah. Like it costs you now 2 blue and it's 5 mana. Like, oh. Yeah. I don't really like it.
It's not great. Like, because basically it's like a divination and you get a 3/3 flyer at best, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not really worth the 5 mana. Like,
man, these mythics
do not seem great.
Okay.
Next up, we got Lost in the Maze. X blue for an enchantment with flash. When it enters the battlefield, tap X target creatures, put a stun counter on each of those you don't control, and tapped creatures you control have hexproof. So, kind of a trick to save your dudes and tap down your opponents.
Yeah, being flash is sweet, and I love how it sticks around. It's an enchantment that like your tap creatures will have hexproof. So any like I don't
Yep.
know, like Mother Runes,
Anybody with an activated ability will be sweet. You can just they try to remove it, or with
Yep.
any sort of spell you tap it.
I mean, you can always just flash this in for 0 to give us something that's tapped hexproof too.
yeah, yeah. I think it's strong.
Seems pretty good, yeah. You can stun them. Yeah, that's a good card.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's definitely for like commander where you can run like these.
Weird offshoot cards, but are still powerful. Like
Yeah.
imagining like standard or something like the 60 cards, you really need to like have that flow of cards where this kind of gunks it up, but in commander you're
Yeah.
definitely like can run these sort of cards.
Yeah, especially if you have like what was it? The one set had like whenever an opponent's thing becomes tapped,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like you
yeah.
can build some sort of deck around that.
Something sphere. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. All right, we'll move on to profits. Profit. Profit. Profits.
Profs, profs, profs.
Etiquette memory. Interesting.
Eidetic. Yeah.
Yeah, this weird card. 1 in a blue for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So that's nice. Plays itself. You have no maximum hand size. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've drawn more than one card this turn, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn -1.
So the turn you play it, you're at least putting one counter on something.
One counter. Yeah.
No max hand size. It's pretty good.
You have to rely on having a creature out, but other than
You have
that,
to have a creature out and a way to consistently draw extra cards,
Draw
which
more
is pretty easy in blue.
yeah. Which that part's easy in blue, but yeah, having that creature out, I guess, is the risk worth it. Like other than that, it seems good.
I mean, because like you like 2 mana, you have no max hand size that replaces itself is still like not a horrible card if you never got the last effect.
Yeah.
So eventually, you're gonna have a creature stick around that can pick up counters.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
We'll see how it shapes out. I like how it replaces itself, so it's fine to me. Like any sort of cantrip's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you could think of it as cantrip. You have no max hand size the rest of the game. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So next up, we got Reenact the Crime. It is 1 blue, triple blue for an instant. Exile target non-land card in a graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
Seems interesting.
So you could mill somebody and then play the best card that they milled.
Yeah, I like that. I like in response to someone playing Demonic Tutor or something. You can copy
Yeah,
their
you
Demonic
could also, if you just kill their thing, you just then get a copy of it.
Yeah. Costing 4 mana. Blue is a lot to ask for, but the
Yeah, because I feel like it's best in like a blue-black deck probably, but then you need to play something on top of the 4 mana with 3 blues. Like you're gonna need a lot of good fixing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a Dimir card that's like blue, black that you can play. Maybe it's only instant or sorceries from your opponent's graveyards. I don't know.
It's a very powerful effect. The mana intensitiveness.
It's also really annoying that you have to wait and do it that turn. It's not just hit any card that's already there.
Yes. The timing needs to be perfect. Your window of opportunity is pretty small. But like we were talking about before, it's any from anywhere. Like
it's definitely will be good when you cast it. I just feel a lot of times it's going to be sitting in your hand. Like, do I want to copy that? No.
Can I hold up 3 blue and
yeah? Can I hold up 3 blue and 1 for another round? Like, or do I just copy that dude's cultivate? Like,
exactly. Very potent effect, but pretty unreliable. Like you need a perfect window opportunity. All right, we'll move on to Steam Core Scholar. 2 and a blue for a 3-mana weird detective, 2/2 flying vigilance. When he enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, unless you've discarded an instant or sorcery card, or a creature card with flying.
So 3 options to only have to discard one thing.
Yeah. It seems very solid. Wish it had flash, but that would make it over the top, I think.
Yeah, 3 mana, 2/2, flying vigilance, draw 2, discard 1 most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. You probably play it in like your Brago deck and keep flickering it.
Yeah. It's hard to see because, like, you want this in like a tempo deck. So maybe you have a bunch of creatures with flying. Maybe you don't. And you don't have that many instants or sorceries in a tempo deck. But it still seems, I don't know. Seems decent. I mean, you would even do this in like a reanimator type deal. If you just want cards in your graveyard, that's an upside then.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the flavor text here. That's weird.
That's weird. I think it'll play better than it looks. Like I think it's going to be pretty good.
All right. We'll see how this shapes out. Like, it seems good, but I don't know how good.
Now we're on to what, black?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so first up for black, we got Barbed Servitor. Servitor? I don't know. 3 and a black for a 1/1. Artifact creature construct that's indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, you suspect it, so it gains menace and can't block. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and lose a life. And whenever it is dealt damage, target opponent loses that much life. 1/1 indestructible menace that keeps swinging to draw cards.
Yeah. I like this.
I don't know if it's worth 4 mana though for that.
That is a high cost.
It is cool because they don't want to block it. Well, they have to block it with 2 things. And if they do, like they're gonna take damage.
And if they don't, you draw cards.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it seems good, but yeah, 4 mana, and then you got to wait a turn to start swinging. It's kind of a lot.
I think it's definitely better if you could somehow cheat this in.
Yeah, but you could probably cheat in better things. It's rough spot being a 4-drop.
Yeah. Well, what's the thing where like you sack an artifact, get an artifact? You do that thing, but I guess at that point you just choose a better artifact.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're at that point, 4 mana is so awkward. I like
if you draw it exactly on turn 4, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's going to be too slow.
Yeah. It's got cool stuff going on, but yeah, it looks good on paper, but I don't think it's going to play well. Yeah. All right, we'll move on to Case of the Stashed Skeleton for 1 and a black, 2 mana Case. When it enters battlefield, create a 2/1 black skeleton creature token and suspect.
Skeleton!
That's Corey's new deck. To solve, you control no suspected skeletons. So you got to kill off your one you just created.
Okay.
Or sacrifice it, or get rid of it somehow. And then solved, you gains an activated ability, 1 and a black, sacrifice this Case, tutor a card. Activate only as a sorcery.
I mean, it becomes a demonic tutor.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get rid of your 2/1. So basically, it's a diabolic tutor, right? Because you pay 4 mana total.
Yeah, 4 mana.
But I guess you got a 2/1 that keeps swinging.
You can't do it right away. Because you need it, unless you have a sack outlet. You need to get rid of that skeleton.
Like if you have the altar or something, you just sack it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you still can't do it that turn because you have to do it as a sorcery and it becomes solved on your end step. So you still have to wait around.
Wow. Yeah, that's even worse. Holy crap.
It's not bad though.
It's okay for standards. Something I don't know about Commander. You have so many options.
I might play it in my skeleton deck just because it makes a skeleton.
Lever. There we go. Other than that, you got other options.
Yeah, I mean, you could just play Demonic Tutor. You basically need to want the 2/1 skeleton.
Yeah, that's
Like,
that.
how good much do you want a 2/1 menace that can't block?
An Enchantress deck? Do you want an enchantment? I don't know. A tutor
In black? Probably not.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
I mean, because it's pretty easy to get rid of it, right? Like, you're just going to attack with it and they'll block and kill it, probably. Or keep taking 2, in which case you don't really care because you only spent 2 mana.
Could be running better cards.
But best case, you turn 3, get any card.
Best case scenario, yeah, but that's like then the skeleton didn't matter. The best case scenario.
Yeah, best case scenario, the skeleton didn't matter. Yeah.
You're winning this. I don't know. Skeleton deck, though. There we go. It's got.
I don't know. I don't. Maybe you can copy the token and not care about the salt.
Okay, yeah, you copy it so you have multiple tutors.
Multiple 2/1s. Don't care about the tutors.
Oh, you copied the token. Okay, I was thinking of copying the enchantment somehow.
Just keep having 2/1s with menace. Can't block.
Okay, in your doubling season deck, you can put this in there.
Although I think only the 1 is suspected, right? Because you suspect the 1. You don't suspect the other one. Right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think that's
Maybe.
how it works. I don't know. I have to look at the ruling on that. But I think that this is going to play a lot worse than it looks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sucks that that's a sorcery speed activation.
And you can't solve it until end step. That's so funny.
I know, but if it was like an instant speed, then like on your end, you could sack them on the end step, get the thing, and use the 1 mana that you got from that, and be a lot better. But no. This is a standard search your library card if you need it.
Okay.
That's what it is.
All right.
Next up, Deadly Cover Up. 3 black for a sorcery. There's additional cost to cast this. You may collect evidence 6. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, then search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way.
Draws a card. Why do you have to say that ending?
Yeah, so it's basically 5 mana board wipe. You can collect evidence 6 to surgical them.
But then they draw cards.
If there was one in their hand.
Oh, only from the hand.
Yeah.
In their hand. Okay. Bit better.
I still think it's bad. I'd rather just play Damnation. I don't really care about the surgical effect, especially if you're playing Commander or something like.
Yeah, Commander definitely no, because that doesn't do anything. And like I'm thinking standard, like maybe a sideboard card.
Oh wait, does it say card, right? It's not non-land. So I could hit all your forests?
No.
It says card.
What the heck? No way.
If they have one in their graveyard. They have to have one in their graveyard already.
That sounds ridiculous, though. That would be insane.
But I don't know. But how often is someone going to have a basic land in their graveyard?
You put Strip Mine in. You put Sinkhole in. You put something.
Yeah, I think that's the only way this is good, right? You exile all their forests.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have their dual lands, but...
The only way to make this good.
The only way to make this good is to play Strip Mine.
That's a high
basic. Yeah, it is.
That's crazy.
And you also have to have 6 CMC stuff in your yard when you cast it.
Yeah. It's a lot of hoops to jump, but that's crazy.
Because normally it does say non-land card. This one does not say that.
Yeah, what the heck's going on here? I thought we were supposed to make monocolored decks better, not monocolored decks. It's better to play 5 colors now. You don't want to be deadly covered up.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the only way it works is against a monocolor deck. And you have a strip mine or something to blow up their land.
Jeez.
It's still not that good. Like,
No, but
because you need 5 mana and 6 other things, and you still are board wiping, so it's like it's still putting you behind. Like,
yeah.
I'm not playing this unless I'm specifically trying to do that thing where I exile their land.
1000%. Doing that just sounds so fun. Like,
but in that case, you might as well go all in on the land destruction and play Sinkhole and all that stuff too.
Yep. Some Armageddon.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on from that madness to the Homicide Investigator. 1 and a black for a 2/2 human detective. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control die, investigate. This ability triggers only once per turn. I think they've learned their lesson from like Pitless Plunderer.
Yeah. Yeah, just giving them a bunch of treasures, give them a bunch of
once each turn.
Yeah.
1 or more.
It's still okay.
Still okay.
Something die, you get a clue.
It's still fine in the aristocrat decks. You just do it every turn. Because it even on your opponent's time.
I mean, plus if you have the dude out,
you
get one of each.
Yeah, but also non-token too, so that hurts aristocrats even more. Like, there's so many clauses for this.
Yeah, this is like an okay card.
That they're playing it as safe as they can.
I mean, it is only 2 mana, so it's an okay card.
Yeah. Can't be any more safer than that.
Next up, we got the Hunted Bone Brute, 2 and a black for a 6/2 Skeleton Beast with Menace. Okay, so it's a 3 mana 6/2. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 2 1/1 white dog creature tokens. Okay, and when it dies, each opponent loses 3 life, and it has Disguise.
I loved your okay. This is a part of.
I don't care about giving my opponent 2 1/1s.
Hold up, hear me out. I like hunted creatures. There's a bunch of hunted creatures, actually. So this is not new. But this is way better than you think in Commander. Because in Commander, you make deals, right? Say it's me and you versus like Nikki V and someone else. And I play the Hunted Bone Brute. I'm like, I'm going to give you, Corey, these 2 1/1 white dogs, but you're going to attack Nikki V. I just put 8 power onto the board, all attacking one opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Just colluding with a partner.
Yep.
And you know people in Commander love making deals. They'll be like, oh yeah, give me those dogs. I'll attack whoever you want.
Right.
That's crazy.
It's also a skeleton.
It's also a skeleton. I like hunted creatures a lot, especially if you have other ways to like, you want to be destroying creatures or like, what's Kevin's slug guy? Toxrill, right? You want people to have creatures that you can put slime counters on and make more slugs yourself. So you give opponents creatures and they die. And you get stuff.
What's the other one? There's the green black guy. It's like whenever something an opponent dies, it gets bigger, and then you make more fungus.
You can like tap them to deal damage. Yep. That too. I know there's Generous Patron where you put support 2, and whenever you put counters on something, you draw a card, so you can.
It's also kind of funny that it has Disguise because you could like at instant speed flip it over.
Mm-hmm.
And give someone that's being attacked 2 1/1s to block.
That is true. You need a block, or like you get through automatically, and after you see there's no blocks, you flip it. I don't know why you would want to do that though. I don't know. The sneak in 6 damage.
Yeah, sneak in 6. But at that point, you could just do it. If they only have one blocker, you just do it before attacks.
Yeah. I don't know. It's got some upsides. It's definitely not a auto include.
I think it's not bad if you can like somehow loop it from your graveyard too, though, because like each opponent drains 3. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
So
That
keep
part's
doing
pretty big.
that.
That part's pretty
Like
big.
Kakusho is everyone drains 5. This everyone drains 3.
You have something on your board that gives your creatures -2 statically. Keep playing it. I don't know. All right, we'll move on to Illicit Masquerade. Illicit. Haha, I can read this time. 3 and a black for an enchantment. 4-mana enchantment with flash. When it enters the battlefield, put an imposter counter on each creature you control. Whenever a creature you control with an imposter counter on it dies, exile it. Return up to one other target creature card from your graveyard to your battlefield. That seems kind of crazy. Like recurring nightmare type shenanigans.
Well, everything in play is going to exile.
No, they just get an imposter counter. And then when it dies, they get exiled, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But then you get something from your
I feel
graveyard.
like this is really good in response to like a board way.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have tokens, like a bunch of creatures, but you also need stuff in your graveyard. As many as you have for your creatures. So it's super late game unless you have super setup. But it's a pretty high ceiling. Like that's.
I mean, if you can reanimate 2 things, it's not. I mean, because you could do it at instant speed too, which is kind of funny. Because you flash this in and then you just like, all right, sack this to alter, get this back, block.
Something huge. Yeah. Even 4 mana, just one sort of reanimate at like its low floor is pretty good.
It does suck you have to exile whatever you put the imposter counter on, but
yeah, but it could be a token. It could be anything.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for like my Carador deck.
Yeah. Where you don't really have like expendable creatures. Maybe that Eternal Witness.
Yeah, Eternal Witness, but I like to loop that.
Yeah, right.
Turn.
They're all good. Yeah.
It's still pretty good though, I think.
It's interesting. You have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, we have to see. If you have a bunch of ETB decks, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Masker Girl, the Known Killer. 2 black for a 4/4 legendary creature, human assassin. It has Menace. Creatures you control have Wither, so they deal damage in the form of -1/-1 counters. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was 1 or less, was less than 1, draw a card. Meaning they died from the Wither of Mycin.
Yep, from the Wither. That works. Also, the Hunted Bone Brute, giving 2 white dogs, 1/1s.
Yeah. Or you just, play this and then, like, Toxic Deluge and just draw a bunch of cards.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty cool combo. I
think it's pretty good. I mean, 4/4 Menace.
It's cool.
This could be a commander. You could build a deck around -1 counters.
Yeah, that would be the thing. It's also like maybe a stacks piece against aristocrats. They're usually sacking 1/1s. I don't know. Flavor wise, she's got to be the killer, right? Like she's a known killer. We solved the case, right? It's just Masker.
Then the flavor text says, "Did I do it?" You'll have to be more specific.
Oh man, she totally did it, right?
She's a known killer. Doesn't mean she is the killer.
Case is closed.
A case is closed.
Dang it. The set's going to be fun and be limited. All right, we'll move on to the Outrageous Robbery. X black instant. Target opponent exiles the top X cards from their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, You may spend mana as lower mana of any type to cast it. I like it.
Yeah, these always play better than you think. Like, was it Villainous Wealth is actually a really
Villainous
good
Wealth.
card.
Those you
Well,
don't
that
have
one you play it for free, right?
for free. You don't have to pay the mana for it.
But it's still like just draw off your opponent's deck, like impulse draw. Almost.
This being instant speed too, I can see it just for one black, like someone top of deck tutors, like Enlightened Tutor, Worldly Tutor, whatever, and you just like, nope, that's not going in your hand.
That's gonna be mine, yeah.
Seems fun.
I mean, if you have no cards in your hand, this is a good card to draw too, right? Because you're just like, okay, end step, dump all my mana into it.
Yeah, it's an X spell draw, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically draw off your opponent's deck.
Seems okay.
Because you can cast them as long as they're face down, so basically forever, until you die. So, and you could play them, so you could play lands. I think this is good.
I think it's going to be better than what you think, but I don't know. I like building my decks a specific way. Like maybe if I'm being like the Dimir guy that steals all your stuff, I'll put that in my deck. But I don't know. It's probably going to play pretty well though.
I mean, a lot of people play like X spells to try and end the game. So here's like you just play another X spell that maybe will end the game, maybe won't.
Yeah, Zexara or something for Hydras or sort of X spells matter.
All right, I think it's pretty good. Let's see. Next up is Vein Ripper. 3 black for a 6/5 vampire assassin. It's mythic rare. It has flying, ward, sacrifice a creature. Whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So this is the best mythic we've seen so far, right?
Yeah. It being 6 mana is a little rough, but that's a potent effect.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm going to reanimate it.
Yeah. I don't know, but is it like... I mean, it's cool and all.
And it's whenever a creature dies, so if you're playing aristocrats or something,
just drain them to death. Would you just rather have a Blood Artist? You're already looping. Blood Artist does see everything, too. This is just like 2 Blood Artists.
Yeah, in one, basically.
Is that good, though?
I don't know, 6 mana, 2 Blood Artists, so a 6/5 flyer? Like 4 mana for Blood Artist and Zulaport Cutthroat, so is an extra 2 mana worth it being a 6/5 flyer?
It's good as like being that stacks piece, but being like in the aristocrat deck, I think you'd want cheaper stuff and you're already looping things. I don't think it looks cool. It looks powerful, but I don't think.
How good is it in a vampire deck?
Okay.
6 mana, 6/5 flyer.
Ward. Flying seems unique in vampires in a little bit.
It's decent. I mean, mono black, like really, it's good for devotion decks if you're playing mono black.
True.
3 pips.
Yep. It's like middle of the pack, I'd say. I don't think it's as strong as it like reads. But
yeah, I mean, you could just like because what's Butcher Malakir is what 5 mana.
Yep.
And that's like they sack when you sack, and even that sometimes gets cut from your aristocrat decks.
Yeah.
It's kind of spending.
I wouldn't do this for the bottom ability. The bottom ability would just be like
if they're killing your thing, you drain them.
Yeah, that would be just like frosting on top. You're running it for the 6/5 flying vampire.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay, I guess. The more I think about it, the worse it gets. So
right.
Looks cool.
Looks cool.
I'm afraid your investigation has reached a dead end.
I think this will be a good time to segue into our segments.
All right, what is your crazy combo?
All right. We'll do my crazy combo again. We're going back with a classic card, Fractured Identity. You guys all know that one. Exile a creature. Each opponent or each other player gets a copy of whatever creature you exiled. This time, we're going to be playing our own creature and exiling it with Phage the Untouchable. Yes, Phage the Untouchable.
And then they
This
always
is a
win.
hard card to cast, but if you have 7 mana, 3 black, 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 when she enters the battlefield, if you didn't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. The other text doesn't really matter because you cast it, you survive. Then you fracture identity, your own Phage. Your opponents get Phage, but they didn't cast it from their hand. So they're going to lose the game. So that's a 12 mana, 2 card combo. Black, 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 blue, white. Lots of generic mana. Very expensive.
That's a Jake combo for sure.
Heck yeah.
Corey's crazy card. All right, my crazy card today is Elephant Graveyard. It taps for a colorless, and it taps to regenerate an elephant.
Yeah.
How about that? You want them elephant decks? There you go.
Elephant or mammoth? Is that a thing, or is that an old Arabian card I'm reading?
They basically typed mammoth.
They errated it.
Yeah.
Oh. It's just elephants.
Basically, all old mammoths are elephants now.
Yep. What are good elephants now? Or is that new race an elephant? Like what that new planeswalker guy is? Is he an elephant? Are all of them elephants?
Yeah, I think so. The Lorehold guy?
The Boros
Yeah.
elephant.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's an elephant.
Yeah, all of those guys, okay. They're all elephants. That's okay.
It's also reserve list, so it's an expensive card, but
There we go. Oliphant from Lord of the Rings, the mountain cycler is an elephant.
yeah.
Heck yeah, I love it. Good card. What, it's untapped too? That's crazy.
Yep. It's a good card. Well, it's a crazy card.
All right, we're back to Anzar-Rog's Rampage. The Mole God's Rampage. 3 red for sorcery. Destroy all artifacts you don't control. Then exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts that were put into graveyards from the battlefield this turn. You may put a creature card, exiled this way onto the battlefield. It gains haste, then return it to your hand at the beginning of next end step. Solid. I would run it in Commander for sure. In those sneak attack type, like Kalia of the Vast type
So
deck.
you're killing all artifacts. You're playing something for free.
A creature.
With haste, and then it bounces back to your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need Blightsteel in the top, 6 cards of your deck.
Yeah, you need 12 artifacts as well. But yes.
No, it just says you look at the top X cards and you put any creature card.
Oh, okay.
So you could kill one, and if it's your top card,
you Worldly Tutor right before
yeah, there you go.
on the stack.
Well, Worldly Tutor doesn't look at a green creature. Is that any creature?
Any creature.
There you go. Put it on top. Then you play this. Destroy all artifacts. Kill somebody, and then it goes to your hand, and you can play it for 12, 11, 12 mana later.
or Kalia of the Vast, it back onto the battlefield again.
Yeah.
Sneak attack type deals. I think it's sick in Commander. It's not like...
Yeah, it's decent in Commander. I don't think I'm playing it outside that.
No. Maybe a sideboard. I don't know.
It'd be fun in a Kalia type deck where you just play big things and just cheat them in for free.
Super specific. It seems fun. We'll put it at that.
All right, next we got Case of the Crimson Pulse. It's 2 and a red. When this case enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. To solve, you have to have no cards in your hand. Then when it's solved, at the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand and draw 2 cards. That's bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, discard a card, draw 2. Okay. I have no cards, so then I'm going to pitch my hand every round. Like, and that's just one time. Like, then eventually you're going to probably draw more cards. And
Yeah, you got to
like,
be
mono red, it might be okay, but like,
You need to make sure you're out of cards all the time, even when you play this. Like,
yeah.
because when you play, you skip the
I
first.
mean, if you're playing like a Hellbent deck or Madness deck, or like the thing that's like whenever you discard a card, you could play it. The like artifact
Madness.
dude. It's an artifact dude that gives everything that effect.
Yeah,
It's very situational. I don't think it's that good though.
okay at best in that situation.
Yeah.
We'll go to Connecting the Dots. 1 in a red for enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. Then you can pay 1 in red, discard your hand, sacrifice it, put all cards exiled with this into their owner's hand.
so it's kind of like Bomat Courier, but
On an enchantment.
Paper on an enchantment.
I think it's the same, right? Either Bowman Courier. No, Bowman Courier is 1 and 1 or 1 and 2.
It's just 1 mana to get all of it. It's a 1/1 for 1.
And 1 to activate.
1 red to activate.
Yeah, so it's basically turns all of your creatures into Bowman Courier.
Yeah, but loses on your tempo. Like Beaumont Courier is a tempo play, and this is like a do nothing enchantment on turn 2.
Again, this is good like if you have some combo with pitching your hand or if you need impulse draw.
It says whenever a creature you control, so it's not when one or more creatures you control.
Yeah, you could swing with like 20 dudes and exile
get
20 cards.
20. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
I still think it's better than mono red or like the Rakdos deck where like when you cast stuff, what's the guy Prosper?
Yeah. I feel like nowadays we're always saying that's a good card in Prosper.
Yeah. Other than that, like I don't know if I'm gonna play it. Like it is still kind of good though. Like
yeah.
I mean, because like even in like it's like in like limited even it's just free cards.
Yeah.
it's definitely got a high ceiling.
So far though, I think the rares are better than the mythics. This is a rare too, which is better than that last card that we read.
Yep. And you're up on a mythic card. We'll see what it does.
All right, Expedited Inheritance, red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature is dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards to the top of their library. They may play those cards until the end of the next turn. So it gives everybody impulse draw, not just you.
Yeah. When they're
That sucks. I don't want it.
I'm seeing it as like a combo potential. Maybe like they have 5 creatures or 6 creatures out, and then you play Star of Extinction and deal 20 to each creature. So
Yeah,
then
but they don't have to
exile-
do it.
Oh, they may.
Yeah, they don't have to do it.
This card's
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you have a stop hitting yourself deck, I guess you get to draw, and it's good in Prosper because you could draw, you could benefit from it more than they can. But it's not any better than like that card that makes everybody impulse draw.
Why are mythics so bad in this set?
This set, the mythics seem awful, don't they? Like the rares seem way better than the mythics.
I don't understand why your opponents get this ability.
I know, it's dumb.
Make it like a 4-mana enchantment and not.
Oh my goodness. I don't want my opponent to have that. If I'm winning, this is bad. If I'm behind, okay, but then I'm chump blocking just to draw cards off the top of my deck at that point, and they're still going to get a card when I chump. Like,
All right, well, we're going to move on to
For the Fugitive Codebreaker, 1 and a red for a 2/1 Goblin Rogue with Prowess and Haste. He has Disguise 6, so 5 in red. This cost is reduced by 1 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. When he's turned face up, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. Seems pretty decent, actually.
So it's Bedlam Revelers, but cheaper.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's still pretty good in an aggro deck too, though, right?
Yeah.
Because 2 mana, 2/1 Prowess Haste.
Yeah. That's decent. And then if you have this late, like, and need to
you can just draw some cards.
It's got good upside there.
I like it. Again, the rare is better than the mythics.
Yep. Oh, look, you get a mythic.
Oh, next up, Incinerator of the Guilty. 4 red for a 6/6 dragon with flying and trample. Okay, starting out good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may collect evidence X. When you do, Incinerator of the Guilty deals X damage to each creature and each planeswalker that player controls. It's alright. I mean, you could board wipe them if you have a bunch of stuff in the graveyard.
Yeah, it's all right. That's as far as
I'd still rather play the other one that's just whenever a dragon attacks, they get 1/1/1 for every dragon attacking.
Yeah.
Or the one that you could just fireball something.
Yeah, there's definitely better ones. It's pretty slow.
It's a mediocre dragon. Like, it's still like the better of the mythics we've read. Like, it's a good card.
It's just an okay dragon.
But it's an okay dragon.
Gosh darn it.
It's better than like a Shivan Hellkite, but for nowadays, it's just an okay dragon.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on from the mythics to back to good rares. To Kranko's back. Kranko, Baron of Tin Street. 2 and a red for a 3/3 legendary goblin with haste and an activated ability. Tap him, sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on each goblin you control. And whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay a red. If you do, create a 1/1 goblin creature token. Gains haste until end of turn.
Yeah, this is bonkers.
Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of infinite combo you could do. Because you can stack.
Well, you could, if you could have a way to make artifact tokens and not just goblins, you could sack for the 1 colored mana, pay a red, make a 1/1.
There's that artifact that makes everything artifacts. Liquid metal coating. No, that's the one time.
Oh,
like 8 mana
lattice.
Yeah, microsynth lattice.
Yeah, microsynth lattice. This and the altar you just.
The altar. Yeah, then you.
The one that. The one that adds colored mana.
Yeah.
Then
Infinite ETBs, infinite.
You have infinite 1/1s. Well, ETBs and so you need impact tremors too.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-card win.
I think that's where you're supposed to focus your energy is on the artifact into the graveyard, make a 1/1 by paying 1. The tapping to give your goblins +1/+1 counters. It's good, but
it's good if you have a lot of the 1/1s.
Yeah.
If you have the other Kranko too, where you're making a shit ton of goblins.
Right. Good. Then in the 99, that's good. If you want to run this as a commander, you're looking at the
artifact. Yeah, you're just trying to loop the 1/1s off, like the sack outlet.
Seems cool. Definitely better than the other like Krankos we've been getting.
Yeah.
No one can beat the mob boss, but still better than like the 10 Street whatever.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Kranko's Buzz Crusher. 2 red for a 4/4 artifact creature, Insectopter. It has flying and trample. When it enters the battlefield, for each player, destroy up to 1 non-basic land that player controls. For each land destroyed this way, its controller may search for a basic and put it on the battlefield tapped.
It's okay.
Yeah, 4 mana, 4/4, flying trample for 4, and you can get rid of their cradles and stuff.
Yep. That's good upside. I miss the days where they didn't have to search for.
Yeah, you just wasteland them.
Oh, good old magic. Now it's like, oh,
They're
we'll just
trying not to be mean anymore.
yeah. All right. Well,
It's okay.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's
okay.
4 flying trample with some upside.
Yeah. We'll move on to a Phoenix. Those are usually pretty good. To a Lamplight Phoenix. 1 red for a 3-mana 3/3 Phoenix with flying. When it dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return it to the battlefield tapped.
Why does it have to be on die?
Yeah.
Why can't it just be I can collect evidence 4 from the graveyard and bring it back?
Yeah. Whenever. So you can't.
Like the fact that I have to do it on the death trigger sucks.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have it at that point,
Mm-hmm.
because like if I turn 3 this and they just bolt it, like then you're screwed.
Yep.
Come on! They haven't made a good Phoenix in a long time.
Yeah, they're playing it pretty safe in a couple of these cards. A little too safe. Is that one or more non?
I have a feeling this set is going to be really slow like cons. Like
Yeah.
just from what I'm reading of these rares and like what I saw of the commons on commons, I feel like the format is going to be very slow.
Yeah, unlimited for sure. I can see it. I think they wanted it to be slow so you can play your disguise on turn 3 and flip it on turn 4.
Now we got the Pyrotech Performer, 1 in a red for a 3/2 creature Vishino Assassin. Has disguise for a red. When him or another creature you control is turned face up, that creature deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. That's good.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a face down Manners deck.
Yeah, it would
You
definitely
flip
need
the stuff up and just burn them to death.
Yeah.
There you go. How can you add red to your Kadena deck?
I can't.
You got to figure out a way. Figure out a 5-color morph commander.
Yeah.
You can add the white and red cards you want.
Kadena's so good though. Drawing cards.
Well, you play her in the 99.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to green. Analyze the Pollen. 1 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may collect evidence 8. So you search your library for basic land card. That's pretty normal. These cards are okay. But if evidence was collected, instead search your library for a creature or land card. Reveal that card and put it in your hand.
So Lay of the Land for 1.
Yeah.
Late game could be a tutor for 1 and 8 stuff. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Like, it's fine playing this at turn 1 if you needed it in the right at that time for that your hand, or you just hold on to it. It's okay. I don't know. See how it plays out.
I feel like it's more for if you want to try and fit Lay of the Land and like Worldly Tutor into your deck, and you only have one spot. But this could fit both roles.
Kind of, not really. But yes. I don't know. I don't really like it, but
it's okay. It's okay. It's a land. It gets you a land for 1.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Archdruid's Charm. Green, 3 greens for an instant. Choose 1. Search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it. Put it on the battlefield tapped if it's a land. Otherwise, put it into your hand. Put up a substitute counter on a target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control, or exile target artifact or enchantment.
Very solid. One of our guys in our chat rooms was raving about this card, saying this is our next staple. It's going to be huge.
I don't think it's that good, but
triple green is rough. Instant speed though is way better than normal. Being a modal is great, but yeah, our buddy was raving about this card.
If you're in mono green, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, you have to be mono green. But if you want to be in our chat rooms, make sure to join our Discord at MTG Place Discord. We'll have a little link at the bottom of here. Join us in our chats.
All right, we'll move on to Audience with Tristani. 2 and a green for a 3-mana sorcery. Create a 0/1 green plant creature token. Then draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens you control. That's far few between. Like, at best, you're going to draw 3 cards, I think.
Yeah, unless you're playing like that populate deck where you have a bunch of different weird tokens, but
yeah,
even then, like you maybe draw 5. Like,
how many times do you have more than like 5 creatures out at once in Commander, and them being tokens that are different?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, best case, you get 5. Like, most of the time, this is probably going to be pay 3 mana, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Which is divination in green. Like, this is the plant, so if you have Avenger, it gets buffed.
Woo.
This card sucks.
Yeah. Agreed.
Next up is Axebane Ferox. 2 green for a 4/4 beast with Death Touch and Haste. Ward, collect evidence 4. Now, see, I think that's a pretty good ward because your opponent has to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, 4/4 Death Touch Haste. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Still rather play Questing Beast, but
yeah. But the memes online is Questing Beast at home.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is Questing Beast's not in standard anymore, so this is the standard. I mean, we're more of a Commander players or limited, so who knows what standard's like.
It's okay.
yeah. It's okay. Bomb and limited, not really good in Commander. But all right. Case of the Locked Hothouse. 3 in a green for 4 mana. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. And if you control 7 or more lands, you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play lands and cast creatures and enchantment spells from the top of your library. That seems pretty good, actually.
Do you want extra Oracle of Moldiah in your deck? That's an enchantment?
Yeah, I mean, Oracle can't cast creatures. Augur of the Autumn?
No, but just the first part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Augur of Autumn can cast creatures and lands.
Yeah.
This seems good to me.
Yeah.
Especially in like any sort of ramp deck, landfall, anything like that.
So playing lands or creatures, anything from the top of your deck is essentially like card draw. So this is like the card draw in green. Like this is good card draw and consistent instead of like that Audience of Tristani where it's like
right. And you're gonna, I mean, natural over the game, you're gonna hit 7 lands, especially when you're playing 2 a turn.
Green.
So.
And you're playing green.
Yeah, and you're playing green. Like, it's good.
Yep.
Next up, we got Hide in Plain Sight. 3 in a green for a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Cloak 2 of them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So they go 2 down, face down as 2/2s on the board too. Fuck them up if they're creatures.
I mean,
for their mana cost.
Commander, this looks crap. But like in limited, if you're in that right deck, this seems cool.
I mean, it's not horrible in Commander, right? Like, if you hit 2 creatures, it's basically put 2 of your creatures in morphed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great.
I
don't think it's very good that you're going to hit 2 good things in your top 5.
I like the card selection, but then you put them all in bottom, then I guess you know that you're not going to get those cards, which is good, but I don't. There's better cards than this.
Well, would you play 4 mana, put 2 2/2s into play?
No.
With Ward 2?
No.
You wouldn't play that?
I don't think so. Unless they were tokens, which this you can't double in season 8.
Yeah, that's true.
If I was trying to,
I don't think this is that good. I don't think it's that good.
No.
There's scenarios where it could play good, like you hit your bomb and you just flip it up, but like,
wouldn't you just rather have like the bomb be the card?
Yeah, I'd rather just draw the card.
I don't know.
And this is 4 mana, right? I'd just rather play just Harmonize and just draw 3.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Weird.
Next.
Sharp-eyed Rookie. 1 and a green, 2/2 vigilant human detective. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if its power is greater than its power toughness
If
is
its
greater
power is
than
greater or its toughness is greater, it's just worded down.
if it's evolved, it has evolved.
Yeah.
Put a +1/+1 counter on it and investigate. So evolve, but investigate.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like that. You create a clue.
I don't know why they worded it so dumb.
Whenever a creature enters the battlefield,
Because they use less words for Pelt Collector, which does the same thing.
yeah,
Where they just say if its power is greater than. Oh, I guess the other one is if its power is greater than either. This is if its power is greater than its power or its toughness is greater. So you could play like a 2/4 and it would work.
or its toughness. Okay, yeah. It says
so you could play
power.
like a 2/4 or a 3/1 would work.
Okay.
But it's still dumb. Well, dumbly worded.
Okay.
Basically, any of the stats are bigger than this.
Yes.
You get a 1/1 counter on this and investigate. I mean, it's good for our 2-drops, 2 for a 2/2 vigilance.
Yeah.
Get some free tokens out of it. Counters.
It's solid. It's definitely
But just
solid.
naturally, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Unless your
Nothing
game plays,
crazy.
just play a bunch of 2/2s.
Yeah, nothing crazy, nothing like broken, but solid card you can run in if you want it.
Next up, we got the Pride of Hull Clade. 10 and a green.
Woo!
It's 11 mana. For a 2/15 legendary creature, Crocodile Elk Turtle.
Woo!
This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control. Okay, so you can play it for 1 if you have a bunch of stuff.
Possibly.
It has Defender, and it has paid 2 blue. Until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its toughness, and can attack as though it didn't have Defender.
Draw
15. So if I get this out, I could pay 4 and attack. Wait, why does it get +1/+0?
Why not? It could be anything.
Oh, it doesn't deal damage equal to stuff. It just draws cards equal to it. So it's a 3/15, and then I draw 15.
Yes. It seems crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
A Defender card. I mean, you need to be playing Arcades and Commander. If you're playing this in like limited, you're not going to be able to play this card. There's no way there's enough Defenders. I haven't read a single.
Well, there's a common card that I think costs 5 mana, and it's a 1/10.
Oh my god, it's possible.
So you can play this for 1 green left.
Oh my gosh. Easy. Okay, there's dreams. There's
dreams for limited, but
yeah,
there's more of a Defender deck card.
Arcades deck, crazy.
Yeah, I mean you can play this as the commander too, and you just get blue green.
True. I like it. Seems.
I mean, you're gonna draw a ton of cards.
Yeah, it seems hilarious. You got to deal the combat damage to a player, but that seems fine.
I mean, whatever. They're probably not going to block a 3/15. Maybe they will. So they don't want you to draw.
If you're in Arcades, this is a 15/15.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of green cards that do that too, just like they assign equal to it.
Yeah. Cool build around.
I mean, then you have something out like whenever you draw, you get a 1/1 counter. So.
What, that legendary enchantment up above, that blue card?
Yeah.
But then that's after the fact. Okay, but still. All right. You get it. We'll move on. Undergrowth Recon. We've been freaking out about this card. 1 green for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
So Crucible?
Kind of, yeah. Not as good as Crucible, but still.
No, not as good because Crucible, you could use it right away.
Yeah.
It's good this is good with Amulet of Vigor.
Yep. Fetch lands, of course, is like the main thing you're looking at, or strip mine. If you get strip mine, you can really get your opponent. Yeah, solid.
Yeah, it's a solid card. All right, are we on the multicolor now?
Yep.
All right, so first up is Alquist Prof, Master Sleuth, 1 white blue for a 3/3 legendary creature human detective with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, investigate. And it has pay X, white, blue, sacrifice a clue, draw X cards, gain X life. So it's like Sphinx res on a creature.
Yeah.
That's sweet because you can play him as your commander. Just have Sphinx
Yeah.
res open all the time.
Card draw and command zone's pretty good.
Card draw and gain life.
Yeah. Solid as a commander, yeah. I mean, I like drawing cards.
Good. It's good in the clue deck.
Yeah, not much else to say besides like he's solid.
Yeah, you could draw some cards. Like,
yeah. Drawing
cards 3 for 3. It's good,
especially in the command zone. Yeah, I mean, you're already a good commander by there. All right, we'll move on to Ezrim, Agency Chief, for a 5 mana, 1 generic white, blue, 5/5 Archon Detective with flying. When he enters the battlefield, investigate twice. And an activated ability, 1, sacrifice any artifact. Ezrim gains of your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Hexproof until end of turn.
It's good choices.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking commander damage. Sadly, it's 5, so that's 5 hits. It's 21 for commander.
Yeah, I mean, it's still good because like you can leave artifacts open for lifelink or the hexproof.
Yep, hexproof is the biggest one, I think.
I don't know how good he is as a commander. I mean, I guess if you have a lot of just random artifacts, you can just give him all every turn.
Yeah, saying that he needs 5 hits is not good.
Yeah, you'd have to buff him somehow. I think he's better in the 99 of like a clue deck.
Okay.
And just a 5 mana 5/5 with upside.
Just a beater though, you don't.
Yeah,
really
just
want
a beater. He's a beater that ain't gonna die because you just keep him in a hexproof. Unless they board wipe, but in which case you're going to lose that game anyway.
Really where you want to be in commander, I don't know. Beaters aren't just that good.
It's going to be good in limited.
There we go. He's going to be bonkers in limited.
Imagine if you open this and that previous guy, basically just playing blue-white control clues.
Yep. Oh, yeah. This guy's going
to
be
the last guy a mythic? Or rare?
Heck, yeah, he is. He is.
That was the first good mythic.
No, we had 3 good mythics in a row. All the green ones were.
Oh, okay. The green ones, yeah. But a majority of the mythics in the set were not great.
Yeah.
Of the monocolored ones.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
You're up with Officious.
Oh, Officious Interrogation. White and blue for an instant. This spell costs white, blue more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target players. Investigate X times, where X is the total number of creatures those players control.
Hilarious.
Oh, you give me a ton of clues.
Yeah. I love this.
So you're playing a token deck and have 15 creatures? Oh, I'm going to pay 2 and get 15 clues.
Be crazy with like Urza out or something to do with the artifacts like this. Just it seems hilarious.
Yeah, this could be bonkers. I mean, it's horrible if nobody has anything out, right? It's just a dead card, but
it very, very low floor.
But like you want for this to be worth it, you want what 2 clues out of it?
Yeah, I would almost want to say 3, but 2's fine. I'll take 2.
Yeah. I feel like that's not hard.
No, yeah, that's.
I mean, for the 2 mana, you want at least 2.
Like, yeah.
Like,
so it seems okay. I mean, the floor is not too bad. You're probably going to get 2.
Yeah.
like in any situation. But the ceiling is pretty high.
Yeah, the ceiling's nuts. Yeah. We get 30 clues.
Yes, please. All right, we'll move on to Drag the Canal. A blue and black instant. Create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. If a creature died this turn, you gain 2 life, surveil 2, and then investigate.
That's pretty good for 2 mana.
Yeah. Yeah.
2/2, 2 life, surveil 2, investigate, but something has to die. Otherwise, you just get a 2 for a 2/2.
Yeah, but it's instant, so your window of opportunity is pretty huge. You get everybody's all 4 turns instead of
Right,
just
and
your
if
own.
any creature dies.
Yep. And you can be holding up your officious interrogation or counterspell or whatever. It seems okay.
Let's gather up what we can before the Golgari tidy up the scene.
True. Very true. It's weird how he said Golgari. Is this in Azorius? Like,
Well, it's Ravnica.
it is in Ravnica? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes much more sense.
It's in the Ravnica plane.
I guess, yeah, Murderer Girl was in here. Massacre Girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Next up, we have Atrata, Deadly Fugitive. 1 blue black for a 1/4 legendary creature, vampire assassin. It's mythic. Has Death Touch. Face down creatures you control have 2 blue black. Turn this creature face up. If you can't, exile it. Then you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, cloak the top card of that player's library.
Why would you want to cloak the top card of your...
Well, you get it.
Oh, you get it. Okay.
So it's
okay.
like when you manifest
Yes,
them.
yes. I like it.
Yeah.
And then you can turn the
Any card face up.
Yeah, the non-creatures
Face up.
and you get to play it.
And you get to cast it for free.
You can't play lands, though.
Right.
Okay. Still cool. Definitely good and limited, of course, but...
Well, if it's a creature, it just flips over.
Yes.
If it's a spell, you get to cast it for free.
Yep. Everything else besides lands.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can just turn a creature face up, right? Like, can't you just turn a land face up and then you just have a land? Because it's still permanent.
But, okay. But why would it say if you can't? Exile it.
Because you can't flip a sorcery face up.
Okay, it's just saying instant sorcery. So, like, enchantment
Basically.
and lands just turn face
I'm
up.
pretty sure they just turn face up, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're already a permanent on the board, because it's literally just like you flip it over. But like an instant sorcery, you can't do that.
That's where it's saying
it would
you
no longer
can't.
exist.
I get it. I'm here now. Okay. I mean, assassin decks, sure, yeah, good. Limited a bomb, but other than that, I don't really see it. Just her triggering off herself to cloak one thing a turn is not.
I mean, you commander build an assassin tribal with her as the commander.
Assassins, yep.
Yeah.
Assassins will be cool. All right, we'll switch
Well,
off.
this fits in Kadena, right?
Yeah.
You can flip your stuff up for 4.
For just 4. I have a lot of big stuff that is much higher than that. So, yeah. It could fit in there. You can see it. I'll have to mess around with Kadena after this set for sure.
Yep.
All right. We'll move on to Lazav, Wearer of Faces. All right, I understand we're in Ravnica now. A blue and a black for a 2/3 shapeshifter detective. Whenever he attacks, exile a target card from a graveyard, then investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, you may have him become a copy of a creature exiled with it until end of turn. So Lazav doing his Lazav stuff, but you have to...
he always becomes copies of stuff, yeah.
But now we introduce the clue clause.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the worst Lazav out of the Lazavs, but they're always pretty good. I mean, definitely in this set you care about.
I do like the just attack, get a clue. Like, that's better to me than him becoming a copy of something.
Do you have to exile a card to
Investigate.
It says exile target card, then investigate.
Yeah. I imagine you would have to exile the card to get the clue.
I would.
It's a tough one.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure though.
We'll have to double check on that one. That's
Because
if you don't, then this is pretty good.
it does say then investigate, meaning like if you can't target.
Then it doesn't matter because you already attacked. You do this, you can't, but then you investigate.
Tough.
Besides the fact, it's still a decent card. I don't know about in Commander. I mean, you would really need to be a clue heavy deck, but limited bomb.
I'm trying to find it on the Gather,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's actually technically in that yet.
Yeah, probably not. That's all right though.
We'll just move on.
Yeah, we'll just move on. That's fine.
All right. You're up with Blood Spatter Analysis.
Blood Splatter Analysis is black and a red for an enchantment. When it enters a battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature an opponent controls. Whenever one or more creatures die, mill a card and put a Bloodstain counter on Blood Splatter Analysis. Then sacrifice it if there are 5 or more Bloodstain counters on it. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah.
So 2 mana, deal 3 to a creature.
Yep.
5 things die, you mill 5 cards, get a creature back. I don't know, it's okay.
Yeah, I like the incidental mill. The deal 3 to a creature specifically for specific colors, red and black, is a lot to ask for.
Yeah.
That doesn't do that much. The incidental mill I like, and then it just returns the hand. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Like you're basically paying the one red for the lightning bolt and the 1 black for the raised dead, and you get a couple mills out of it. I don't think it's that good.
No. Very specific colors, like no.
We'll move on to Judith, Carnage Connoisseur. 3 black red for 5 mana, 3/4 human shaman. It has whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose 1. That spell gains Death Touch and Lifelink. That's pretty badass. And then create a 2/2 red imp creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent.
That's bonkers.
Yeah, that's sick.
There was like the sun and something, the Boros commander that
one that gave them all lifelink.
Lifelink, yeah.
Death Touch lifelink's nuts because you can like deal 1 damage, kill it, and gain a life.
Does Death Touch have to do damage? Probably. It's not like the Herobi or whatever that wherever you target something they get destroyed.
No, you have to deal damage.
Put some damage, so makes it much worse. But still,
it's cool. Death Touch is like whenever something dealt damage with this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Destroy it.
That makes sense. Still really cool.
Still really good. Like, just play this your commander and just play all instants and sorceries.
Yeah.
Control deck.
Aetherflux Reservoir.
Yep. And like all the spells that deal damage, use Death Touch Lifelink, and the rest, I get a bunch of imps.
Star of Extinction. That's a lot of life to gain. That's a lot of life to gain.
Like Blasphemous Act.
Yep. It's a little bit less, but that's a lot of life to gain.
Next up, we got Rakdos, the Patron of Chaos. 4 black red for a 6/6 flying trampled demon. Mythic Rare. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, non-token permanents. If they don't, you draw 2 cards.
Mm.
So basically, 6 mana, 6/6 flying trample, you draw 2 every turn.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how often they're going to want to sack non-token, non-land.
right. That's steep for your opponent to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this card. That's awesome.
It's really good. You could cheat it in on the Kalia decks because it's a demon.
Yep.
Put it in your demon deck.
My demon deck just as a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems really fun. All right, we'll move on to a god everyone's been hyped about, Anzrog, the Quake Mole.
Mole God.
Mole god. Moly, 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 mole. 2 in red green for 4 mana, 8/4. Whenever he becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. Then you can pay activate his ability 3 red, red, green, green for 7. Anzrog must be blocked each combat this turn if able. People are saying you play fogs that are one-sided fogs. So he keeps dealing damage, but then he gets blocked and you keep untapping and you have unlimited combat phases after you've activated his ability and used the fog. But
yeah. You could also just give him indestructible.
That too. That sounds much easier.
And it's all of your creatures. So you can just swing with everything you have every time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He has to be blocked, but you activate his ability and he's a taunting elf.
Oh, yeah. So if they were smart, they would just block all of your stuff.
Yeah. And not
so
him.
all this stuff is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're swinging in for a bunch of damage.
Yep. So you got to make him. You got to activate his ability. But still, that's
pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
Just put lure on him.
Yep. I mean, that's his activated ability.
Right. But that costs less than 7.
That costs way less than 7.
Next up, we got the World Soul's Rage. X red-green for a sorcery. Deal X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. So Blaze is just better now?
Yeah. Yeah. Fireball is better. Fireball is better than this. But yeah, Blaze is what you were saying. I mean,
it's any target, but yeah. So
yeah. I think.
Most of the time you're just gonna burn them to death, though. Like,
yeah,
do I care about bringing lands back? No.
I think it reads much cooler than it's going to play out.
Yeah, it's going to play out like, okay, I'm either going to kill somebody with this, or in like a landfall deck, I need 4 triggers right now, and I'm just going to do it for 4.
Which is good, but it's not like, I don't know. I think it reads like much more. Everyone's so hyped about like how crazy this would be, but it's not going to be that good.
I mean, it's decent commander if you just killed the weak guy at the lowest life and you get a bunch of lands for your next 2 turns, but it's not as good as people think. It's going to play more like just Blaze, like just burn something.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll move on to Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods. 4 mana, 2 red green for 4/4 Centaur Druid. Other creatures you control have haste. All right, whenever 1 or more face down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Whenever a face down creature you own dies, return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control if it's a permanent card. Then turn it face up.
There you go. 5-color. You need this in your 5-color morph deck. I mean, because if they die, you're just getting it back on the front side.
Yeah.
But you get the trigger because it goes down and then flips up.
Yeah, then turn it face up. It does. Yeah, that's pretty
So
nuts.
it's basically flip all your stuff for free if they get blocked. And if they don't, you're going to draw cards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy good.
You need to be in that specific deck. I mean, even just a 4/4 for 4 that gives your creatures haste is pretty cool.
I mean, plus he can be your commander if you have some more stuff.
Yeah, the being a commander is cool. Yep.
He's a centaur druid. Like, look at him. He's a centaur with some badass beard going on.
Yeah, he does look really cool. He's got like bones and stuff. But just minus, you X out the face down stuff. A 4/4, give your guys haste. 4 seems
It's pretty good too.
pretty good.
And people play Urabrask for that.
Right. Yeah, this is a bit better. I mean, Urbrass does tap down your opponents, but
yeah,
it still seems good. Like without doing the face down stuff. I don't know.
It's a good card.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Relive the Past. 5 green white, 7 mana sorcery. Okay, this better be good for 7. Return up to 1 target artifact card, 1 target land, 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you have 3 cards. They are 5/5 elemental creatures in addition to the other types.
Is it 7 mana worthy? It's
7 mana for 3 5/5s, plus the abilities of whatever's on your artifact and enchantment.
Could be a Ristic Study. Could be a Guy's Cradle. And
yeah, but if you got a 5/5 cradle, you're not going to attack with it.
No, that's true. Okay, it's a fetch land. You get your Ristic Study back because someone blew it up, and then an artifact. You need all 3 of them in your graveyard for this to be okay.
Yeah, because even just 7 mana for like 10/10 is like meh. Like basically your stats. You need all 3, and they need to have some sort of static effect on them.
Yeah,
the land doesn't, but like the artifact and enchantment better.
It's a lot of hoops. Like cards being that big is like maybe you can ramp super fast into it, but if you like begin your game just ramping, you don't have all this in your graveyard.
Because you can't target like some big artifact creature because it just becomes a 5/5.
Yeah.
So like best case you have like Portal to Phyrexian or something in your yard and you bring that back, but like, and I'm trying to think of an enchantment that's just as bonkers, but
wow,
like Debtor's Knell or something. I don't think it's very good.
No, you need a lot of hoops.
You need a lot of hoops to jump through to make it good.
Yeah. Well, that's all of our rares and mythics.
What?
That's everything.
No, it's not.
Oh.
You didn't hit next page.
There's next page. Oh, shit.
That's the first 60.
Oh, man. All right. We're on to Tolismir, Midnight's Lane. Your light. 5 mana, 2 generic green, white for a 3/2 elf scout with lifelink. When he enters the battlefield, create a 5/5 wolf. Whenever a wolf you control attacks, if Tolismir also attacked, target creature and opponent controls blocks that wolf this combat if able. It's Tolismir back.
What I don't get is Volja.
Yep.
He's a 3/3 on the other cards, right?
Yep.
And now he's a 5/5?
Yeah.
He got stronger?
He got buff. I mean, those cards were never really that good.
I also wish this was more than just ETB, because like they just block the 5/5 and you ain't getting it back unless you flicker it. Like it's a 5 mana 3/2.
With lifelink.
Yeah. And they're blocking your 5/5 most likely to kill it.
Yeah. Not good.
It's okay. Like if you have a wolf tribal deck.
Yeah. But
I mean, as your commander, it's a little better because like you just attack with this, help it dies, and play it again.
Yeah, and try to flicker it or something. Or it's a legendary.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Yeah, you can't like doubling season the token. Next up, we got Trostani, the Three Whispers. It's white, hybrid green-white, and green. For a 4/4 legendary creature dryad, it's a mythic rare. It's a 4/4 with pay 1 and a green, target creature gains Death Touch till end of turn. Pay green-white hybrid, target creature gains Vigilance till end of turn. Pay 2 and a white, target creature gains Double Strike till end of turn. So how good is a 3-mana 4/4 with 3 activated abilities?
Actually, seems not bad.
It's pretty good if you're playing green-white because you're just going to play 3-mana 4/4.
Mm-hmm. I like how you can target your opponents too for like commander games. Like I see you're attacking a player C, and I'm being like, I'm going to give that double strike. That's fun.
Or I'm going to give that chump blocker Death Touch.
Yeah. Yep. Seems fun. We'll move on to Kaya, Spirit's Justice for 4/2 white black for a legendary planeswalker, enters with 3 loyalty. Whenever one or more creatures you control and or creature cards in your graveyard are put into exile, you may choose a creature card from among them. Till end of turn, target token you control becomes a copy of it, except it's flying. Target token, that's interesting. +2, Surveil 2, then exile a card from a graveyard, so that will trigger it. Then +1, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. That creates the token. And then -2, exile a creature card you control. For each other player, exile up to 1 target creature card that player controls. That seems like what you're mostly running this card for. The other side's just kind of like...
You could make a flyer of some random stuff in the graveyard.
Yeah. The other stuff seems a little wonky, but it can work out. But I think you're playing this 4 mana right away, -2. Exile a crappy token you have. And for each other player, you get to exile up to 1 creature that player controls.
Yeah, and then next round you just make a spirit.
Yeah, and then
Surveil.
you start doing some wonky stuff. Yeah, but that's
it's pretty good. Cool. It's not bad. It's not great. It's pretty good.
Exile is pretty huge. Like, I don't know, each player too. Like, it's a 3-for-1 kind of.
Yeah, and Commander.
Yeah, 100% Commander. In 1v1s, I don't know about this card, but Commander, yeah, I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I guess you're getting 3 things.
Move on to Teysa.
Teysa, the Opulent Oligarch. 1 white-black for a 2/3 legendary creature human advisor with Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever a clue you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. This ability triggers only once each turn.
Ooh, I'd have to say that.
I know, right? I just want to sack all my clues, get a bunch of 1/1s.
They've been playing.
You gotta pay 2 mana to sack them.
Yeah, playing it way too safe this set. I guess it's each turn. It's not like on your turn. So
you could sack on each person's turn.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to play something that makes everyone take damage to even be able to trigger your thing to get 3 clues.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay in the right deck. Or move on to Tomik, Wielder of Law. For a 3 mana, 1 white black for a 2/4 human advisor. And he has affinity for planeswalkers.
But basically you just need 1.
Just 1. People are saying it's flavorful. Tomik is Ralzeric's partner, I think. And so now he, like, as long as he cares for Ralzeric and he'll be there, he's affinity for planeswalkers, so he'll come to his side. Something like that.
Okay.
Flying Vigilance 2/4. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures. What?
So when an opponent attacks you with creatures.
What else would they attack with?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know if I've read that sentence before.
Whenever opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, that opponent loses 3 life and you draw a card.
Yeah, they should have just said whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures.
Yeah.
And or planeswalkers. They didn't really need to, when they attack with creatures, check if 2 of them are attacking me or planeswalkers I control.
Are you
Then
sure
you
they're
lose 3 draw.
I don't know.
It's worded dumb.
I don't know. Okay.
I don't think you can attack without creatures, can you?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's not any.
I'm confused.
That's why I said it's worded dumb. It's
Okay.
worded basically to say when an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, you or planeswalkers you control 2 or more creatures. It's just so that you check it when an opponent attacks. But
Okay.
so basically, it triggers when an opponent attacks. Period. I don't even know why it says with creatures. You can just say when an opponent attacks.
What else are you going to attack me with? They're your fist?
Maybe they're hinting that later on they're going to make non-creature things that can attack.
Okay.
Maybe the next set we're going to get stuff that are non-creatures that attack.
Like, vehicles are still creatures when you crew them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're going to make, like, I don't know, spaceships or something. I don't know.
This is not a vehicle. And it's not a creature.
Yeah, and it's not a creature, but it attacks like a creature.
Okay. Other than all that, he seems fine. You draw cards.
It's basically a 2/4
Yeah.
O-ring, like, what do you call
Good
that?
block.
Propaganda type effect thing.
Good blocker.
It's pretty good. Next up, we got Treacherous Greed. 1 white-black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn. Draw 3 cards. Each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life.
Seems decent. Like, I like how it's not combat damage. Like, you can block with something, and then this can trigger.
Yeah.
You can sacrifice that one. That block that survived, too, as well. Ouch. I guess
Yeah, it
that's...
has to survive, too.
Oh, that's even worse.
So it's more likely you're just going to attack with, like, a 1/1
Yeah.
flyer and sack
Okay.
that.
Okay. Basically combat damage.
It's hard to get that trigger, that first additional pass. But it's a good 3 mana draw 3.
Yeah. Very, very good. But, yeah, I think that's going to be a little high cost. All right. Well, that sucks. Ill-timed Explosion. For 4 mana, 2 blue, red, sorcery. Draw 2 cards. And you may discard 2 cards. When you do, this deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. That seems kind of sick, actually.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, there was that dragon that basically did that with non-attacks.
Okay.
And it was pretty good. But it played out worse than it was because a lot of times you'll just draw shit that isn't big costing.
True. Yeah, you need to discard the biggest thing, which usually you want to hold on to the biggest thing.
Especially in red-blue, like, because you probably don't have reanimate.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing red like Grixis, then that could be good. You could pitch something big and blow up the board and then get your thing back.
There's a lot of, like, your instants of sorceries gain flashback or, like, Mizzix Mastery type deals, but still, I don't know. It's weird that it's an Izzet on, like, a board wipe, kinda. I don't know. I guess you're red. You got Plasma Sack and stuff, but... Alright.
Next up, we got Kylox's Volt Strider. 1 blue-red for a 4/4 mythic rare artifact vehicle with crew 2. And you can collect evidence 6 to make it an artifact creature. So crew it. We're just collecting evidence too, basically. And whenever it attacks, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among cards exiled with it. If that spell be put into a graveyard, put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead. So you basically want to collect evidence with this to make it into a 4/4, attack with it, cast one of those cards, and put it on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah. If you don't, then it really sucks.
It's just a 4/4.
Yeah. All right. Well, it pairs with your ill-timed explosion, I guess,
Yep.
because it's even if you play this on turn 3, it won't die to the board wipe because it's a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some combo potential, but probably still is not as good for a deck. Commander, I wouldn't really want this. Move on to Kylox, Visionary Inventor. 7 mana, 5 in blue-red for 4/4 Vashino Artificer. Menace, Ward 2, and Haste. Whenever he attacks, sacrifice any number of other creatures. Then exile the top X cards of your library, where X is their total power. Interesting. You may cast any number of instants or sorcery spells from among the exiled cards without paying their mana. Guess it is a 7 mana card, and you're sacrificing stuff.
So
Powerful.
the weird thing is you have to sack creatures to get instants and sorceries.
Yeah,
So I feel the best build with this is to make this your commander and have a bunch of those instants and sorceries that put 1/1s into play and stuff.
Yeah.
Just make
some sort of
dudes.
tokens. Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, sack my board, cast like a bajillion things.
Yeah. Have one giant turn and hopefully it works.
Yeah.
I love how crazy it is, but yeah, in practice it's probably going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
You're being pushed into different directions. There's so few cards that are actually good that make tokens in Izzet.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be playing like the 2 mana, make 2 1/1s a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Hilarious, but pretty bad.
All right, next up we got Malik, the Reforged Researcher. 3 blue-red for a star weird detective. It's legendary. Its power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. And the first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast.
Solid.
I mean, for 5, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You got on everyone's turn, too.
Yep. All your instants, which is pretty good, but you need to have instants that have 3 generic mana. Which,
well, or 2, and it's just like whatever.
Yeah, 2, it's like whatever. As a commander, he seems pretty solid.
Yeah, you just play instant sorcery tribal.
Yeah. Interesting. I wouldn't put him in the 99 and try to hope that all of your instants and sorceries are like that.
Right.
And then
I'm trying to think, because there's like the one that's like 3 blue, and it's like scry so much and then draw so many cards. Like, that's pretty good for blue.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as a commander, I think it would be great.
Or like you could play sleep for blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Commander will be cool. 99. No. All right. Izani, Center of the Web. 6 mana, 4 generic and black-green for a 5/4 elf detective. Has Menace. Whenever she enters a battlefield or attacks, you may collect evidence 4. If you do, create 2 2/1 black and green spider creature tokens with Menace and Reach. Then sacrifice 4 tokens, surveil 2, then draw 2 cards. You gain 2 life. Solid?
Yeah, I think as a commander, you're just playing a token deck, right? You don't really care about the spiders.
Could be anything. Could be clues. Could be
so
whatever.
Sack 4 tokens, draw 2, gain 2, surveil 2.
Treasures and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And the fact that she can make spiders or whatever, it's pretty good.
Yeah, even on attack, that's so cool. But you have to collect evidence 4.
I mean, this is a 6-drop, so you probably have something in there.
Yeah. Not powerful. It's cool.
And they are 2/1s with Menace and Reach.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Urgent. Necropsy. 2 black, green for an instant mythic rare. It's additional cost to cast this spell, collect evidence X, where X is the total mana value of the permanence this spell is targeting. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, up to 1 target planeswalker. So it's basically a fixed decimate, but you have to collect evidence as well, which sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. But it could be like a 4-for-1 at the high end.
Yeah, 4-for-1, and you exile like 15 mana worth of stuff out of your graveyard.
Yeah.
That's the bad part. Like, it should just be 4, kill up to 4.
I mean, the artifact you're doing is Soul Ring. That's only 1. The enchantment's Rhystic Study. That's 4 total now. Creature's going to be a lot. Planeswalker's going to be a lot. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's probably you need like 10 plus CMC worth of stuff in your graveyard.
Yeah, probably not good.
I mean, it's not bad, like, because like late game it's pretty good. Early game it's gonna suck.
Yeah, exactly. Instant speed's cool.
But... Yeah.
All right. Agras Kos, Spirit of Justice. 4 mana, 2 and red white for a 2/4 double strike vigilant legendary spirit detective. Whenever he enters battlefield or attacks, choose up to 1 target creature. If it's suspected, exile it. Otherwise, suspect it.
All right, you can suspect them and then exile them.
Yeah, so 2 turns for enters battlefield and then attacks. So yeah, every 2 turns, you're going to exile something you want.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, you could just keep suspecting your things too to be aggro and give them all menace.
True. It's okay.
2/4 double strike.
Hooray! It's a Boros commander that cares about attacking.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they all do, right?
Oh, boring.
Next up, we got Aurelia, the Law Above. 3 red white for a 4/4 legendary angel. Flying, vigilance, haste. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia deals 3 damage to each of your opponents and you gain 3 life. So that's good. It stops your opponents from attacking with a lot of stuff, and when you do, you get paid off.
Yeah. My buddy was actually looking at making this a commander. He wanted to make a goad commander. Something that goads. And then he saw this. He was like, oh, I get a payoff after goading my opponents?
Mm-hmm.
Seemed kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We'll move on to the War Leader's Call. For 3 mana, 1 red white enchantment. Anthem +1/+1, and then whenever a creature enters a battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent.
So Impact Tremors.
Crazy, yeah. Impact Tremors is already a good card. I mean, it is 1 more mana more, and you get the Anthem, but having multiple effects of Impact Tremors seems pretty great.
Yep.
Perforos.
Yeah. So this is going to be a good card.
Yeah.
And they know that the effects are good, which is why they made it rare.
Yeah. Yeah, seems great.
Next up, we got Doppelgang. XXX green blue. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of it.
That seems nuts.
5 mana for a copy of one thing.
One thing, but 8 mana, you get 2 copies of 2 things, so you get 6 copies of 2 different things, right? 3 different things.
What?
No, you get 2 copies of 2 things.
Yes, you get 4 things total.
4 things, but 2 different things you get 2 copies of.
Yeah.
That seems pretty good.
So 8 mana is probably the sweet spot, and then you want like doubling season to make it more.
And then if you can go higher than that, 3 copies of 3 different things.
That's 9.
That's 9 things. If you can go
That's
higher
11.
than
That's
that,
11 mana at that point.
yeah. But that's still nuts. That seems so fun. I don't know. I love it.
So you're going to want doubling season and stuff, and you're going to want things so that you can copy non-legendaries.
It's any permanent too, so if you do it at 1, though, you just get 1 copy. Never mind. Yeah, you need to do it at 8 mana.
Yeah, I mean, unless you really need a copy of something.
And 2 Rhystic Studies.
Okay, hold on. What if I made 3 copies?
Yeah.
Oh, I did 3 for this, and I'm choosing my doubling season, my parallel lives, my other one.
You put out the calculator. That seems a lot of fun. And then you pick like a smothering tithe or something.
Yeah, something dumb. Or just a creature that's good.
Yeah. Jeez. All right, that seems fun. So we'll go on to Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy. For 4 mana, 2 and green blue, 3/4 human fairy detective. But he's got an adventure. Tail the suspect for green and blue sorcery. Investigate. You may play an additional land this turn. Solid. But then you play him as a flying vigilance. Whenever he attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If you control that permanent, draw a card. Ooh.
So you can blow up your own clues to draw cards.
Yeah, or your opponent's artifacts. What is that? Tarragon Protect? There used to be an old Simic card that destroyed artifact or enchantment on attack. Tarragon Protector, something like that. I really liked that card, and this reminds me of that.
Yeah, Trigon Predator.
Trigon Predator. There we go.
I still play that occasionally.
Yeah, this just seems like that. But I mean, you don't get enchantments. But...
That had to hit them though. This just
this
on attack.
On attack.
And you could blow up the treasure or the clue you made to draw a card.
Or your treasure, yeah, your incidental little artifact. Seems cool. Yeah.
All right, next up we got Vanifar, the Evolved Enigma. 2 blue-green for a 3/4 legendary creature elf ooze wizard. It's a mythic.
Ew.
At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Cloak a card from your hand. So play it face down. It's a 2/2 with Ward 2. You can turn it face up if it's a creature for its mana cost. Or put a 1/1 counter on each colorless creature you control.
I like how cloaking from your hand gets around counterspell.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really need to play a creature that you know your opponents are wanting to counter and you're playing against blue, you cloak it. Other than that, it looks...
Yeah, and then you could flip it up and get them.
Yeah. Other than that, it looks really bad. I wouldn't run this as like a commander.
Why not? Put 1/1 counter on them all your face down stuff. All colorless.
I guess it's on combat. You don't have to do anything with her. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what's good to cloak and then get somebody with, like Elishnorn.
Yeah.
Flip it up, everything's gone.
Behemoth, no, that's ETB.
Yeah, that's ETB. There need to be something with a static.
Some big demon. I don't know. Which she's not even in the colors for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't think it's that good.
It's okay.
All right, we'll go to Voja, Claws of the Conclave. Some people are freaking out about this. Finally, a wolf commander. It's 5 mana, 2 red, green, white for 5/5 wolf. It's Vigilance, Trample, Ward 3. Whenever he enters or whenever he attacks, put X +1/+1 counters on it for each creature you control, where X is the number of elves you control. Then draw a card for each wolf you control.
Yep, so wolves and elves.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, elves. I was going to say you're split between two different things, but elves you kind of just always mesh with your
Yeah,
whatever you.
because elves has ramp, so
They just ramp into it, so it seems okay. It's on each creature you control too. You get the +1/+1 counters. So
oh yeah, so everything. Like if you just have one elf, all of your stuff gets
all of
one
you,
one one.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's pretty
Even
good.
Boja himself, so the commander damage will be a threat.
Yeah, plus he has vigilance, trample, ward 3.
Yeah,
And you're at least going to draw one card if you have nothing else out. Because it's the wolf.
yeah, yeah. I like it.
It's pretty good.
It's not going to run tables, but it's a I'm
Cool
playing
card.
normal commander, not playing CEDH with this guy.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Leyline of the Guild pack. That's the hybrid green white, hybrid green blue, hybrid black green, hybrid red green. So you could just play this for 4 greens, but in
Mm-hmm.
commander it's 5 color. Enchantment. If Leyline of the Guild pack is in your opening hand, you can begin the game with it on the battlefield. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to the other types. Seems good in a 5-color deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably still want to run Chromatic Lantern over this.
But you can't get it for free.
The the likeliness of that happening is pretty low. And then if you don't get it, then Lantern's better.
Yeah, unless you have like Collation Victory or something.
Yeah, care about that, or like lands matter, like Valacult type shenanigans. You'd want it. It's okay in the right deck, but it's then any other deck you'll probably just want Chromatic Lantern.
Yep. Or the 3-drop creature that does that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the
Dried of
2-drop
Elysian
creature that
Grove.
does that. There's a 2-drop too, the Joiner Adept. So it's a
Yep.
tap for any color.
Prismatic Omen's a 2-drop enchantment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to Niv Mizzet, the Guild Pack. Wooburg, legendary creature, Dragon Avatar, 6/6. Flying and hexproof for multicolored. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, it deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards, and you gain X life, where X is the number of different color pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors.
So most it could possibly be is 10.
It's good luck, but yes.
So if you have every 2-color combo out,
you
10 damage, anything, draw 10 cards, gain 10 life.
That's crazy. You're not going to do that.
Most times it's going to be like 3 at the most.
Yeah, I can see 3. I can see 3.
Deal 3, draw 3, gain 3.
When he deals combat damage too. I mean, if you're building that deck, you're building that deck. It's fine there. Other than that, you're not putting this in the 99 of some random 5-color deck.
Unless you really want to. As a
Unless
dragon.
you really want to. I mean, my buddy's got a Ramos deck that he's trying to do like guilds type deck. He has the other Niv Mizzet that draws you all the cards for the different color pairings. But I don't know if you would run this over that one. I don't like it.
All right. Next up, we got our only artifact that's a rare. It's 2 mana for a Cryptex. It's an artifact. Tap, collect evidence 3, add 1 mana of any color, and put an unlock counter on this. Sacrifice it, surveil 3, draw 3 cards, activate only if it has 5 or more unlock counters on it.
5 or more? Sheesh. You need to collect evidence to even like start this, so it seems pretty bad.
Yeah, they really should just made it cost 1.
The collect evidence part or the mana?
The mana cost.
Yeah, but you still don't even have a graveyard yet.
I know.
Yeah, that seems pretty bad.
Like you're gonna have to self-mill, and then basically use this 5 times to draw 3, surveil 3. Like at the point where that's good, like yeah, you've gotten your mana out of it, but it's kind of crap.
Yeah, this seems real bad.
Like a 2 mana rock that adds. I could just play my Arcane Signet, man.
That actually taps for mana for free.
Yeah, and it literally does the same thing. Any color of my commander. So yeah, I can't second to draw cards, but whoop-de-doo.
That after you've done that for 5 turns, you've collected evidence 15
Yep.
over the course of 5 turns.
Then you surveil 3, draw 3.
I feel like my
if it was like draw 7, maybe. Like
yeah, true.
I just draw. It doesn't seem worth it.
No, or possible.
I mean, you'd have to be playing a self-mill deck, and even then, like this is probably just going to be milled.
All right, and then the land cycle. What, they made these rare? So there's fetchable lands that come in tapped, but when they enter the battlefield, you surveil one of each color.
Yeah, so it's just straight up better than the Scry lands because they're fetchable.
Yeah,
Scry lands were also rare, so.
Scry lands were not rare. Were they? Oh, the temples.
Yeah, the temples were.
Yeah, okay, I guess the temples were rare, but they made fetchable tap lands, which are good.
Yeah, but they don't
surveil
or scry.
They don't surveil, but they were still better than temples.
Well, unless you want the scry.
You don't.
Like surveil is better than scry because you put it in your yard.
You don't want to be playing tap lands. The only reason why I'm run the other ones is because they're fetchable. Like that.
Right. Well, that's why the scry lands are down to like $3, and you would play them if you really wanted a tap land with scries because it's like the same as a gain life.
Yeah.
Right. And then here you surveil, which is a little bit better than a scry. So now the scry lands are useless unless you're playing a deck that cares about scrying.
Super.
These are good if you're playing in a surveil deck. I guess if you have that stupid Cryptex, if you play a couple of these first, you'll have some stuff in your yard to use the Cryptex.
Yeah. I think these are really, really powerful. Like, I run those common fetchable tap lands already.
And these are just strictly better.
Decks. Yeah, these are just strictly better. Unless you're doing super snow decks, but I'm not even with those. So yeah, these are going to be valuable. Not like crazy, not like Shocklands or anything.
No, they'll be like $5 range probably.
Yeah. But still really, really good. They're going to replace all the ones I'm running in Commander decks.
All right, well, that's it.
All right.
That is our set review. Again, if you want to get any of these cards, do so at tcgplayer.com using our affiliate link that is in the show notes and on our website, mtgplace.net. It's also, if you're in our Discord, we also have all the links and everything in there as well.
Yes, all of our chats too. Come join our chats.
The links are also on our YouTube page. So, and the website. So everything you need to know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you guys.